It's so funny how obsessed with Obama Trumpers are. When talking about what is happening right now all over this country, they always love to say, well, Obama did it too. Okay, and that wasn't okay either. The difference is, we don't worship politicians like you Trumpers do. You guys think that we're such diehard for the Democrats as you are for Trump. Like, you think that we don't, like, we agree with everything that the Democrats do. We don't. There's some things that they do. We're like, hey, that's not cool. Like, maybe you shouldn't be doing that. But for you Trumpers, no matter what Trump does, you love to meat ride him. There's nothing that that man will do that will get you to turn on him. Also, Obama was in the office 8 years ago. Why are you guys still so obsessed with bringing him up every chance you can? Like, it makes no sense to me. Also, you Trumpers sound like bratty little children because this is how you guys sound to us. But Obama did it too! That's literally how you guys sound. And a lot of that is coming from grown-ass adults. I feel like what a lot of Trumpers are forgetting is that when Obama was in office, a lot of us were kids. I was a teenager. So I didn't really know what was happening. But I know what is happening now. And I'm able to call that shit out. What is happening in this country is wrong. It should not be happening. He is consistently breaking the Constitution damn near every day. You guys scream, but it's the law, but it's the law. Your felon president is breaking the highest legal document that we have, and you guys don't care. So you don't actually care about the law. You just want to be racist.
Our president will start a war with Iran because he has absolutely no ability to negotiate. He's weak and he's ineffective. So the only way he figures that he's going to get reelected, and as sure as you're sitting there, is to start a war with Iran. Now, I'm more militant and more militaristic than the president. I believe in strength. But to start a war in order to get elected, and I believe that's going to happen, would be an outrage.
Donald Trump is so obsessed with Barack Obama. Whatever he's doing, Trump wants to do it. You know? Even Obama was mocking him because the guy is obsessed. And you know, Trump can't reach Obama's level of leadership. Though Obama made few mistakes years back, but comparing Obama and Trump, Obama is much better.
There's the childish nicknames, the crazy conspiracy theories, this weird obsession with crowd sizes. The other day I heard someone compare Trump to the neighbor who keeps running his leaf blower outside your window every minute of every day. Now, from a neighbor, that's exhausting. From a president, it's just dangerous. The truth is, Donald Trump sees power as nothing more than it means to his ends. He wants the middle class to pay the price for another huge tax cut that would mostly help him and his rich friends. He killed a bipartisan immigration deal written in part by one of the most conservative Republicans in Congress that would have helped secure our southern border because he thought trying to actually solve the problem would hurt his campaign. He doesn't do not boo, vote.
Let us see a few video how people are reacting about this. Do you think Donald is obsessed with Obama? Because look at this outfit.
Remember this outfit that Donald Trump just wore? You won't ever guess who he got the idea from. That's right, the guy he's obsessed with, Barack Obama. So tell me, who do you think wore it better? The best president in modern day history, or Piggy?
Obama Trump copy Obama. They look alike. That means, have you ever, that means is obsessed with him. Have you ever been with a girlfriend whereby you don't talk to that girlfriend, but whenever you're with friends or relatives, you talk about that person? That means Trump loves Obama. Obama, I think, is Trump's role model. Let us go to this.
So no matter where he is or who he's talking to, and of course, the he I'm referring to there is Trump.
Yep.
He cannot get over his obsession with Barack Hussein Obama.
Then we had the Obama administration. Wonderful, wonderful person. Barack Hussein Obama. Have you heard of him? We had the Obama administration, which phased out this wonderful tradition of physical fitness. Thank you, Barack, very much. Great job.
What's the psychology of this obsession?
I mean, obviously, it's the number one thing is scapegoating, right? He's basically scapegoating Obama, and then that scapegoats the entire black culture. That's the number one thing. But number two is what happened when Obama got elected is that he broke what they call the psychological wage of whiteness, where basically poor white conservative people were taught for like hundreds of years that people were, basically, even though you're white, you're better than your neighbors because you're white compared to the person, your neighbor who might be black, or the person that's Hispanic that's your neighbor. You are better than them, even though you're just as poor as these people. But that got broken when Obama actually became president. They could no longer say you are better than a black person because a black person now basically has the highest office in the land.
Crowd booed Donald Trump off the field. This wasn't a quick moment. It was loud, sustained, and very public. It happened at the FIFA Club World Cup final after Chelsea crushed PSG 3-0. Trump came out to present the trophy, smiling and waving, but fans made it crystal clear how they felt. The boos echoed through the entire stadium. It was impossible to ignore, but some outlets, like the New York Post, tried to soften the moment, saying Trump and Melania were greeted at the final. Greeted by who? The people booing. According to Matt Visser from the Washington Post, it was full-on hostility from the moment Trump walked out. And there's important context behind it. Earlier this year, CBP and ICE confirmed they'd be present at Club World Cup matches in Miami, checking immigration status, telling fans to carry documentation. That sparked outrage, especially among immigrant communities who felt targeted and unsafe. Now fast forward. Trump steps onto the field like it's just a photo op. The crowd's reaction? Immediate and unforgiving, that he wasn't just presenting a trophy. He became the headline. And with the 2026 World Cup coming to the U.S., this might be the start of something bigger. Trump getting booed at a FIFA final. Fair or foul? Let me know what you think down below.
President Obama just ruined Donald Trump's night without having to do a single thing to make it happen. Now, as you know, Donald Trump is obsessed and driven by his ego, especially when it comes to crowd size and whether or not he's cheered and how loud he's cheered. And he's always careful to pick his spots because he knows there's a solid chance if he goes out, he's going to get booed loudly. Well, President Obama made an appearance at the NBA All-Star Game, and this happened. Yeah, the cheers were so loud you couldn't hear the PA announcer introduce him. That's because the American people love President Obama across the board. With Donald Trump, it's 50-50, and the reason is he is a fake it till you make it guy, and that's fine if you are a failed businessman. But when the job you have can affect the lives of millions of people, it matters if you perform well. And when you're not, when prices are up across the board for groceries, utility bills, you can't lie to people and expect when you go out, they're going to be happy to see you.
He's got some weird obsession with trying to get rid of anything that Barack Obama and Joe Biden created.
What is his obsession, by the way, with crowd size? You notice that? He's always worried. This is the one measure he has of success. He's still worrying about his inauguration crowd being smaller than mine. It really bugs him. He's still talking about that. Does he have nothing better to worry about? Did no one come to his birthday party when he was a kid? Was he traumatized?
Donald Trump just got loudly booed by the entire stadium at the US Open as soon as he was shown on the Jumbotron. Just take a look. And here's another angle from higher up in the stadium. Yeah, both of those are pretty embarrassing for Donald Trump. And interestingly, these are like the only clips you'll see of Trump getting booed because the U.S. Tennis Association asked all the broadcasters to censor any negative reaction to Donald Trump. And you heard some claps here and there. Of course, there will be. It's a very wealthy event and there's bound to be some MAGA people there. But overwhelmingly, that was just straight boos for Donald Trump. Yet another awful moment for him.
We have some news. Trump just got booed by thousands of people at the same time at a global soccer final, and let me tell you, the crowd didn't hold back. It happened at MetLife Stadium during the FIFA Cup World Cup final between Chelsea and Paris Saint-Germain. Trump appeared on the Jumbotron during the national anthem and was immediately met with loud, sustained boos from thousands of soccer fans. Later, when he returned to present the trophy alongside FIFA President Gianni Infantino, the crowd booed even louder. Beside him was Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, who, according to multiple reports, smiled at the crowd's reaction towards them. Trump is having a very bad week, to say the least. Being booed on live TV at a global event isn't even the worst thing that happened to him this week. This wasn't a blue state crowd. No, this was New Jersey, home to thousands of Trump voters. It's a reminder that even in power, public opinion matters. And this week, the public definitely showed how their opinion has shifted.
Trump just said that Barack Obama is president of the United States. Watch this clip and we're going to have a talk about this because this isn't the first time Trump has done this. There's something going on with this.
Get that war settled. It's a bad war. And Putin, has so little respect for Obama that he's starting to throw around the nuclear word today. You heard that, nuclear. He's starting to talk nuclear weapons today.
Folks, Barack Obama hasn't been president of the United States since January of 2017. This is very strange, and Trump has done this repeatedly. He got confused recently about Nikki Haley, who's his Republican opponent in the primaries, claiming that she was Speaker of the House of Representatives, who was a Democrat, by the way, Nancy Pelosi, back on January 6th when we had the insurrection. And he claimed that Nikki Haley was in charge of the House, and she was in charge of security, and Nikki Haley was like a housewife or something back in South Carolina at that point. She certainly wasn't the Democratic Speaker of the House of Representatives. Trump has done this repeatedly. Recently, he also got confused and called his wife Mercedes. Her name is Melania. But this Obama thing is the strangest thing because Trump has done this repeatedly. He recently tried to claim that he does it on purpose, that it's a joke, and he's actually saying that Joe Biden's so weak that Barack Obama's really president. You guys saw that clip. He wasn't making a joke about Obama. The way you would make the joke is you'd say, President Obama.
All right, so I had tweeted that I think I finally have like a working theory on Trump's obsession with Obama, and it's so much deeper than race. But it's also very simple. I've always said that Obama becoming president was a glitch in the Matrix, because it was. If you actually go back and look, by all like facts and predictions, Obama shouldn't have been nowhere near nobody's presidency. Okay? That's just real talk. Not even just because he's black, but just because of where he was in his career. Like, he should not have been the president at the time that he became the president. And because of that, let's just look at Obama's life. Okay, his mama is white, his daddy is African, but Obama didn't grow up in means. He didn't grow up in these circles. Him and Michelle, neither one of them grew up in these prestigious circles. Yes, they go to Ivy League schools, but as we should know, that does not change your socioeconomic status. Just because you go to a certain school with certain types of people, that does not automatically change your class. And even though you're able to get into certain rooms, you still just will not be invited into certain places. I don't give a damn how much education you got. You were not born with a certain pedigree. There's just certain rooms you will not end up in unless you do things like Jeffrey Epstein. So, what does the Epstein files, Bill Clinton and Hillary testifying, the Super Bowl, and all of that, why does all that matter? Okay? And Donald Trump and his sharing of that picture of Michelle and Obama looking like monkeys. Because, y'all, Donald Trump hates Obama because they could not absolutely corrupt him because he would not join the Billionaire Boys Club. And I know everybody thinks, oh, it's because he's black. It's because this, that, the blackness adds to it. Because how dare you, nigga, not want to be a part of our exclusive club that we invited you to join? We invited you to join, you turned us down. How dare a black man treat us like what we're doing is beneath him? And that's not to say Obama does not have faults. He has things that I don't like. But guess what he ain't? A pedophile, baby-eating rapist. A serial killer. He's not those things. And because he wouldn't be initiated into that Billionaire Boys Club, Trump got fixated on taking him down. And the fixation on taking Barack Obama down, sorry, somebody called me, but the fixation on taking Obama down has now exposed their whole network. His fixation of that, so that's why him getting fixated on that and them not being able to control his fixation on that, so they just had to go with it and support him and now use him as a pawn to basically lull us into accepting that they're just this evil group of people like running the world and doing all these evil things. Obama being a glitch in the matrix caused Donald Trump to do something that was out of order, and that was to run for office. They never meant for this man to be anywhere near the White House, but they just had to go with it because he's such a loose cannon. And because of that, now their whole organization is exposed to the general public. All the things that they're doing is now exposed. So that's why all of these antics and things have to happen, because they literally are trying to distract you from wanting to actually do something about it instead of just releasing the files, because we need to move from release the files to hold them accountable for what's in those files. And we have not moved there because a lot of people are just simply too distracted with all of the things that are going on, which is, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying it's your fault. It's so much going on that it's so hard to really pay attention and pull out what's going on in there. So I will not be surprised, y'all. I'm going to say this. Everybody who going to the Super Bowl, be very careful. Be very careful. Because I will not be surprised if something negative happens there. Because the Super Bowl and the NFL football, they use that as, to me, one of the most prominent sports and solidification of their Billionaire Boys Club. And I don't feel like going into all they do because this video get real long if I go into why I said that about the NFL. But one day I might come on here and talk about it. But that's why Donald Trump really hates Obama. Because how dare you, black man, turn down our invitation to be a part of our Billionaire Boys Club when you weren't supposed to be here in the first place.
It's this struggle between the idea that we, the people, includes everybody.
During a taped interview on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, Colbert asked former President Barack Obama about the expanding powers of the executive branch and what powers he believes whoever is the president should not have.
The White House shouldn't be able to direct the Attorney General to go around prosecuting whoever the president wants to prosecute.
Right, this technically it's under the executive branch,
Technically,
but the norm is that it's independent.
The idea is that the Attorney General is the people's lawyer. It's not the president's consigliere. You can't have a situation in which whoever's in charge of the government starts using that to go after their political enemies or reward their friends.
Obama did not mention President Trump by name, but he nodded to critics who say Trump has leaned on the role of Attorney General and the Justice Department to pursue investigations into his political adversaries, including former FBI Director James Comey and New York Attorney General Letitia James. Obama also spoke about the president's power as commander-in-chief.
There had been a whole series of norms that were in place to ensure that you weren't trying to make that military loyal to you as opposed to the Constitution.
Obama also seemed to criticize the president for using the office to advance business interests for his family and friends.
A good policy that I'd like to see followed is that the President of the United States shouldn't have a bunch of side hustles that those companies and foreign entities can invest in.
How much of that is just jealous that you didn't think of selling a sneaker? Because your sneakers would have flown. You know that, right?
Even when joking about Colbert's future, the former president appeared to take a jab.
How dumb do you think it is for people to say that I should run for president?
Well, you know, the bar has changed.
That is true. That is true.
A recent Washington Post ABC News Ipsos poll on Trump's approval rating found only 37% of Americans approve of his job performance. This interview dropped just 6 months before a contentious midterm election when the U.S. is wrapped up in a war with Iran and gas prices continue to climb. We have asked the White House for a response to Obama, but have not heard back this.
I've been noticing for years that the Trump cult is absolutely obsessed with Barack Obama. So I decided to do some research to try and find out why the MAGA cult is so obsessed with Obama. Barack Obama has not been president for 10 years, and MAGA can't stop talking about him. They're literally obsessed with the man. They try and blame him for things that are happening today. That's not random. There's a psychological reason for that, although it seems a little creepy. Here are the 4 reasons the Trump cult is obsessed with President Obama. 1. The psychological wage of whiteness. In 1935, sociologist W.E.B. Du Bois at Atlanta University studied poor white Americans. White Americans, even the poor ones, with no money and no power, felt superior to black Americans. Not because they earned it, but because for 250 years the entire system told them they were superior to black people. The law said it, the church said it, the culture said it. Du Bois called it the psychological wage of whiteness. This is a status payment people collect just for being white. A floor that white people couldn't fall beneath. Then Barack Obama became president. He occupied the highest status role in the country. That destroyed the floor. And when a status floor breaks, people don't quietly adjust. They backlash. Obama didn't just win an election. He took something they didn't even know they were depending on. They didn't earn this special status, but they thought it was stolen when Barack Obama got elected. And they've been trying to take it back ever since. 2. Social identity threat. Psychologist Henry Teifel at the University of Bristol spent decades studying in-group conflict. What he found was when a member of an outgroup outperforms the in-group, the psychological response is not one of admiration, but hostility. Teifel called this social identity threat. A failed black president would have confirmed the Trump cult's worldview, but Obama being polished, competent, scandal-free, and widely respected by world leaders made it impossible to call him incompetent. The better Obama performed, the more threatening he became to the cult. Not because of his policies, but because his success directly contradicted everything they believe about the natural order of things. He wasn't supposed to be better. He wasn't supposed to be a gentleman and a scholar, and yet he was. That doesn't just go away. When weak, mediocre people see someone they believe was inferior reach the highest office in the country, they don't get inspired. They become filled with rage. They feel lied to, and they need someone to blame for the hate and rage. That target is Obama. Everything they could never be. 3. Scapegoating. Obama left office in 2017, but his name never left the conversation, because Trump spent more than a decade smearing his name. It all started before Trump was even president. Trump spent years pushing the birther conspiracy, claiming Obama wasn't American, wasn't legitimate, wasn't one of us. That wasn't politics. That was a deliberate effort to strip Obama of his humanity. and plant him in the minds of millions as the source of everything wrong. Then when Trump took office, the playbook continued. Every problem needed an explanation. Economy struggling? Obama's fault. Crime rate rising? Obama's fault. Anything going wrong in the country? Obama's fault. Psychologists call this scapegoating. Assign one figure as the source of all your problems and anxiety, which then collapses onto that single target. It feels like clarity to his followers. It feels like understanding. It isn't. Trump didn't just keep Obama's name alive. He spent over a decade turning him into the villain of the story. And to the Trump cult members, this story still is true. 4. Cognitive dissonance. Here's what made the obsession permanent. The MAGA cult couldn't call Obama corrupt. There were no scandals. They couldn't call him incompetent. The record didn't support it. They couldn't even call him unpresidential. He was polished, disciplined, and respected around the world. Psychologist Leon Festinger at Stanford University studied what happens when people are confronted with evidence that contradicts their deeply held beliefs. Weak people don't update their beliefs when confronted with contradicting evidence. They double down on their original beliefs. Festinger called this cognitive dissonance. MAGA was left holding a belief system that Obama's entire existence disproved. And instead of resolving that contradiction by updating their worldview, they resolved it by hating him harder. The obsession isn't just political, it's psychological. And it has nowhere left to go. So it goes out onto everyone else in rage and obsession. Obama is living proof that the psychological wage of whiteness doesn't exist anymore. And to weak people who never earned that status in the first place, it feels like an identity crisis. So they obsess more, say his name more, talk about him obsessively all the time. They even have a name for this now, Obama derangement syndrome. Because Obama didn't just win the presidency. He broke a hierarchy millions of people thought was permanent. And they've been trying to undo that moment ever since.
At this point, it's giving obsessed. And if you want to know what I'm talking about, stay tuned. So at this point, we are all well aware of President Trump's Truth Social post about the Obamas yet again during Black History Month. And it's really not giving political anymore. It's more like obsessive. Barack Obama has been out of the office for years, and yet President Trump keeps circling his name like he's stuck in 2009. That is not a coincidence. That's fixation. You see, Obama represents everything racists in America hate but can't deny. A black man was elected twice with no scandals, who's highly educated, who's also globally respected, is a faithful husband with a stable family, who's calm, articulate, and professionally unbothered. And that alone was enough to break white people. So let's talk about facts. Under Obama, the economy recovered from a 2008 crash. Unemployment dropped to historic lows. Millions gained health care through the Affordable Care Act. The auto industry was saved, student loan access expanded, and America's global reputation had improved. Yet notice how President Trump never critiques his policies. He always attacks his personhood. Because the issue was never what Obama did. The issue was that he did this while being black. That same obsession gets projected onto black people in America every single day. Despite all of the redlining, mass incarcerations, voter suppression, underfunded schools, and employment discrimination, so on and so forth, black Americans continue to build wealth, create culture, lead movements, innovate industries, and redefine success on our own terms. That kind of success is threatening to people whose identity depends on being above someone else. So when Trump brings up the Obamas during Black History Month, it's not accidental. It's just resentment. America chose a black family over him twice, and no true social rent will ever change that. Obama lives rent-free in this man's mind. And black excellence lives rent-free in America. Happy Black History Month.
Thank you for watching Great Minds Blacks.